Boom! Happy Thursday, YouTube. Another Thursday night, another killer comic show on the road. Let's get this show on the go. I'm Geeky Guy Comics, aka Charlie, and we've got the man with the muscles, the man with the plan, Big Rig himself, Tom, aka Not Quite Mint. What is happening, Tom?
Oh, it's all good, baby. How are you?
Yeah, I'm buzzing. It's a shame that Andy's not here this week, but yeah, he's busy doing more important stuff than sitting with us two goons talking about comics and shindigs and whatever else not. So, but yeah, it's going to be a good one. How you been? Good week?
It's been a very good week, mate, so far. I can't complain. I've been, took on a new side hustle, so happy with that. Everything seems to be going well. I've been listening to some pretty cool, inspiring podcasts. I've been doing a lot of research, a lot of PT stuff, which is quite cool. So my brain is fired up, and I feel like I'm firing on all cylinders, as they say.
Boom.
So what about you? How's your week been so far?
Yeah, it's been good, Like after a good show like last week, I was absolutely buzzing. So massive kudos to the YouTube's Heisenberg, Leon Russell, who won the old Dan Panacean image. That was wicked. That was that was a surprise to us, because obviously we didn't know he was going to be doing that until he turned the camera around and he's just doing a sketch. And that's quite similar to what him and the rest of the artists that do on the Drink and Draw show. So massive shout out to you, Leon, on that one. I sent Dan your address, so he said he will get that in the post ASAP. Obviously, that's coming from Los Angeles. So is it Los Angeles or San Francisco? It's Los Angeles, isn't it?
I don't know, mate.
It's coming from. I don't know. It's coming from somewhere in the States, so it could take a couple of days to.
Coming from one of the 52.
There we go. But yeah, no, it was a good one, and he's such a great guy. And obviously, if he does go ahead with Boom Studios and they say Alice Forever After does get sanctioned, he will be on the show to talk about that. Don't you worry about that. So, but yeah, I'm buzzing. You're buzzing. The weather's been buzzing down in London. It's been 27 degrees. Looking forward to this one. We've got Dragon Lover number 3. He's just jumped straight in and said, awesome. Thank you very much for that, sir. Thank you very much. We've got Chris, the Ding Dong Bell. What's happening, killers? Yes. We've got Bat Dan. Oh, he's changed his name. It's not Bat Dan Dixon no more. It's just Bat Dan. There we go. Hey up, lads. Merry Thorsmas. Merry Thorsday. We've got the Poptimist. How you doing, Darren? Good evening, sir. We've got Stream Elements. He actually won the giveaway last week, so we had to.
Couldn't believe that.
We had to fucking redo it, and then Leon must it. Paul Fields Treehouse. Good evening, sir. I'm loving the new logo, mate. Thank you for joining us all the way across the pond. We've got the lovely Yuko Demand Streets. Evening, everyone. I've been looking forward to tonight's show. It always brightens my week. Well, I hope we do you justice this week, sir. So thank you very much.
Either Charlie's got you guys join us every week.
Either Charlie's got tiny wrists or his watch is massive. No, it's all an illusion, mate. It's all an illusion.
His watch is massive.
And then we've got an America fuck yeah. There we go. So it is America fuck yeah. So this week the killer covers went out, and it was quite interesting. There were 3 good covers, and it's going to be
a contender this week, mate.
We said that a couple of weeks ago. Now let's be honest, right? I've been slapdash picking my covers, but you and Andy have been absolutely running away. But Andy has literally just submitted his next 4 weeks worth of killer covers. So
I've seen them all.
We've seen them all, and I've got some seriously mate.
There's some competition there, mate.
There is some competition, and I'm feeling where I'm so buzzing this week, and the weather's shining, and weather makes everything happy, makes everything good. Hopefully, it doesn't dampen my mood when I potentially don't win tonight. But as always, that's enough about me rambling on. Let's just get into the fantastic intro that you've put together.
I must get all the winning covers from you at the end of the show, and I'll readjust that.
I've only got one, so that shouldn't take too long.
Just your covers, every cover you've won with, so they'll all be black bar one.
So, ladies and gents in the chats, you know we start off the show the same time, same place, same way every week. The killer covers. Now, this is for New Comic Book Day, which was obviously yesterday, August the 9th. We've got 3 beauties to choose from. Up first, we've got the man of the hour. It is Andy. He's unfortunately not with us this week, but he has gone for AWA Upshot, The Madness, issue number 1. And this is cover E, which is the 1 in 20 ACO Virgin variant. I actually like this. I think this, and I've looked at the premise of the story, and I really like the what's coming for this story and everything like that, and the variant covers they've got coming out. The only thing for me is that Andy's picked a really good one. The only thing for me is this reminds me of a Batman cover. I think it was Jock did. It was either last year or the year before.
Yeah, exactly my same thoughts, mate.
It does look very much like that, but it's near enough identical because it was bats flying away from Batman instead of it being this. But Andy did have a good point. Is the madness leaving her, or is it attracting to her? Is it going into her?
I thought that was a really good point that he put across, because it does make you think. Then how is this cover, orientated? Is it, like you said, is it the madness leaving or coming to her? That is the interesting thing. I suppose if they were bats and it was the bat, they'd be flying away, so you'd be able to know that they're definitely going away. But I totally agree, mate. I think it's not, in my opinion, I don't think it's an original cover that you haven't seen before. Although, like I say every week, if I saw this on the shelf, it would catch my interest, and I would have to go and have a look. That's for sure.
I definitely think, and I think if the yellow was like a shiny foil, I think with a 1 in 20, you'd at least expect it to be.
Yeah. Is there a shiny one?
I don't know. I mean, it might be. I mean, I guess with the chance of it being a 1 in 20, there's a potential it could be, but I doubt it. But it is a nice cover, but the story looks spot on.
Yes. Yeah. It does sound like a good story, to be fair. We probably should put it in our to vote for. Actually, I think it might be.
No, I think it is. But anyway, so yes, so this is Andy's pick. And back down, I said Charlie tattoo reveal. If you lot are good in the chat tonight, maybe I'll give you a sneak peek. I've had phase 1 done, just got phase 2, which I'm getting done on the 19th. So yeah. And then with Chris Bell, at the risk of shafting you, Charlie, will that be a first on a Thursday night? I think you have a shout this week. Let's hope so. And then the Poptimist, not sure how much skill is in that cover, to be honest. Edit software and some basic skill, you'd get that easy.
Pretty much,
but that's the name of the game. And then Chris Bell, unless she is made of madness, it's away. She's fragmented on the side where that's coming from. This cover isn't tickling my tastes at all.
Oh, Andy's lost some fans this week.
Here we go. Up next, Tom.
So I picked Francesco Martina. I picked his cover for Night Terrors issue 3. I thought it was a little bit slim pickings this week for covers. So I went with one that I thought was a little bit different, something I'd not seen before, and something that would catch my eye on the shelf. Now, the reason this would catch my eye on the shelf is the blue ghosts that are pulling. What the name is in? It was his name now. Is it Deadman? They're pulling Deadman back in through this void of white, which I thought was really clever. And also, I like Martina's work. I know he gets a lot of stick for copying and re-editing and redoing stuff. But I really liked it, and I thought it was really different to a lot of the other covers I saw this week. However, like I say, I thought it was slim pickings, and I actually think you picked the best cover this week. But let's see how we get on. But yeah, if you want to vote for me and vote for Martina, then please do.
You say about covers that we've seen before. Was it Francesca Martina that did this cover? It was it X23, where she was? Yeah, I swear it was. Where it was the same similar thing where she's coming through the covers
possibly
and stuff like that.
Actually, you're probably right. I feel like you are right.
It was definitely an X-Men cover. I don't know if it was X23 or something, but I really like Martina, and he has got a lot of stick for obviously copying others' work and ripping off and stuff. And there was that massive. Yeah, it's Kitty Pryde. There we go.
Yeah,
Wilbur.
Yeah, not X23. Kitty Pryde.
Thank you very much, Wilbur. Yes, and thank you very much for joining. And as Chris Bell said, I love Martina generally, but this isn't his best. Do you know? And as I was saying, I do like Martina, and obviously it is hard. I guess it is hard for cover artists to keep on top and do something original and do something they haven't done before. I mean, look at, I think it was in Hayek Lee, he did the Ronin, the last Ronin cover, and then he did one that was exactly similar, and I even showed it on the show. It was literally like he'd removed Michelangelo and just put the new thing on it. So I mean, it must be hard for them, but I mean, they're earning the big bucks. So
I mean, I can't say anything, mate. My favorite artist is J. Scott Campbell. I mean, it's all copy and paste for J. Scott. The only artist I'd say, well, one of the only artists that I really love that's out there at the moment that's doing different alternate covers every week is Dan Mora.
Yeah.
He doesn't do the same thing.
No.
They are similar layouts, but they're always different to what he's done before, which I think is quite good.
No, definitely.
I'm sure I'll probably just shot myself in the foot and someone will correct me shortly.
But no, this is a good cover. It's just a shame that it's the Night Terrors, because as you would have seen over on Triple G's channel that we do every Friday or Sunday, or when Pete decides to go live, because he's YouTube royal, he can kind of do that. He can just decide, well, you know, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it this week. Night Terrors is absolutely draining us, and I'm not sure how many other DC fans actually enjoy it, but it's draining. But it's one of them series that I can't put down because it's so draining.
Yeah.
So, but unlike this cover's pretty impressive. So yeah, and it's going to be cardstock as well, which is always good. And it ain't Marvel, which is even better. So up next is mine. Oh look, speaking of that, it's a Marvel cover. The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 31, the Tyler Kirkham variant B. I spotted this a few weeks ago, and as soon as I saw this, I was like, potential winner chicken dinner.
I think so.
It was a toss-up between this and the variant A, where you've obviously got the Spider-Man logo and stuff. And I've said it time and time again. Sometimes I want a comic cover to look like a comic cover. Sometimes I want it to look like an art piece. This, for me, with the detailing of like him standing in the spider web and the spider suits being ripped off and you're showing underneath and stuff, I just think this is really, really good. And this is probably one of the first Marvel covers that I've seen in a long time that I've actually thought, yeah, this looks great. It's just a shame that the actual story is shit, if I'm being honest. But
Spider-Man has done like badly for a while now. It just doesn't seem to be getting back off the ground as a series.
Not at all. Not at all. But hopefully, potentially, could I win this week? This is my one, The Amazing Spider-Man issue 31, Tyler Kirkham variant B. We've got Tom Night Terrors issue number 3, cover B by the Francesco Mattina man himself. And we have the Madness issue number 1, cover E, which is the 1 in 20 ACO Virgin variant cover. Tom, the
which
man
looks
with the
like
plan.
It's been done by Jock. It's already live, mate. As soon as you finished, it went live.
There we go. So the vote is live, guys. Head over to the YouTube chat that you're in and just place some votes, and we shall have a look at the end of the show to see who won. Good evening, Fuzzy. Welcome. Thank you very much. And here we go. Looking forward to Superior Spider-Man startup again in November time. Hopefully that's a good story, but I don't hold out any potential goodness coming from the Spider-Man comic. But if I am, I will eat this hat on my head live on the show when that comic comes out.
Live on the show. If Spider-Man turns into a really good comic, Charlie will eat his hat live.
There we go. And I'll post it and we'll do a giveaway and I'll post it to the winner. There we go. Anyway, that's enough about me rambling. The comic that we chose this week was The Sacrifices, issue number 1 from Image Comics. This was obviously last week, and we are reviewing it, which was week 31. We're currently in week 32. So bish, bash, bosh. 8 covers out this week. We've got the main cover by Julian Totino Tedesco. We've got cover B, which is by Julian Totino Tedesco. We've got the one and only Jenny Frisson, Virgin variant. We have the Laura Braga Virgin variant cover. Absolutely loving Laura's work at the moment. We have a Tula Latte 1 in 10 variant cover. We do have, there is a, this Jenny Frisson cover here is also a 1 in 15 variant cover. We've got a Matteo Stellera 1 in 20 variant cover. We have a J.G. Jones 1 in 25 variant, and we have a Mike Mignola 1 in 50 variant cover. So looking at the big bucks for that. Now this obviously came out last week. Again, as I mentioned, it's published by Image Comics, written by Rick Remender, and the art is by Max Fumara. Tom, I've got quite a lot to say about this comic, but do you want to take it away, my friend?
Yeah, mate. I've just got the synopsis up. So if anyone that hasn't read it or, is interested in reading it. So the series premiere this is, and it says, tomorrow is a harmonious paradise thanks to 5 families who make everything perfect. For the pride of 1 child per household, for the price of 1 child per household. Now, the Now that as the bill comes due, a son expected to give everything for a family that never loved him, and an affluent daughter determined to destroy utopia must unite to end one generation's unnaturally protected reign. Yeah, protected reign. So it sounded good. I thought it sounded good. Oh shit, sorry mate. For some reason my let's go. Yeah, so it sounded good. I thought it sounded good, and like I picked it up, read it, thought it was great, but I just got massive Hunger Game vibes from the whole thing, from the start to the finish.
Really?
I really did. I just thought it's not anything unique in that way. Like I just thought it was really Hunger Games-ish. Like these kids are being sent off to, you know, be sacrificed to keep the peace, as it were. But I did really enjoy it, and I thought it was a really good story, and I thought it was a good take on, say, something like the Hunger Games. The emotion that you get from the bird family was amazing, and then there's so many panels where there's not a lot of dialogue, and it just hits you in the feels. And I just thought that really shows well for however the writer's written it, that the artist has interpreted that to create this just incredible artwork that just draws you in, and you know what's happening. You feel the emotions. I want to put something to you. I have a feeling that the families are all the elements, you know, wind, fire, earth, metal, and I have a feeling that this bird family is obviously going to be wind. And you know how this is all going to pan out maybe is that, you know, all the elements have got to come together to kind of do, you know, the earth, as it were, kind of make it all proper and right again. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I really want to read issue 2 straight off the bat. Literally, I was chomping at the bit when I finished. Although it is very Hunger Games and not very unique, it's a unique take on something that I've seen before. If that makes sense. What did you think?
So I'm massively into my gaming, as you well know, and you are as well. So I mean, you've got Nintendo Switch, so you've obviously played like Zelda and the new one, like Tears of the Kingdom and stuff. This for me, straight off the bat, as soon as I see the pigeon, I kind of thought about one of the characters in Zelda and how close they are to the bird family and everything in that part of the computer gaming and stuff. So then I kind of start thinking, did Rick and Max kind of use that as an example to kind of create the basis of this family and stuff? Because there's 2 universes from what's apparent. There's like this universe where the kids are taken, or one sacrifice is taken from each family, and then obviously you've got the fire element where you kind of go off and like you've got the god of fire and everything like that. I just thought I didn't know anything about this until Andy kind of like had it on his indie picks last week. I didn't think anything about it. The only thing I do think about this is that this bird, I think, is tied to the daughter of the god of fire. I think they are tied because she doesn't.
I think they will be.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to have a connection with her father, and he's very distant with her. And I think if he was given a chance, I think he wouldn't think 2 seconds about whooping her ass or beating her like the bird, the chick's father, or the what are they? Hens, chickens, chicks?
I don't know. They're blue. They look like blue tits.
Blue tits. There we go. They're right. So yeah. So where we go with blue tits? I mean, but I really, really enjoyed this. I thought it from the get-go, it kind of really got me going. It was intriguing. It was heartfelt. The emotion was there from like straight off the bat. We just kind of see it was very like Knights of the Round Table. They were sitting there. The father was like this overly adoring figure that was standing up, giving a speech to his family, like asserting himself, saying like, "You've got to." It's almost like he was saying a prayer to a higher being, that we're thankful that we're here. We're looking forward to like eating your food and everything and praying. And then all of a sudden, the child just pops up at the window and all hell breaks loose. Like the dad just lost his shit and just literally went out. And it was like, I was like, that was quite hard hitting, because you just think that.
And that's like 3 pages in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I instantly thought, is he part of the family, or is he like, I don't know, like a homeless person that's come up and become intrusive and stuff like that. But then when you find out like it's his son, and this is clearly a regular thing, and he's sleeping rough, and I just want to find out more why he's gone to have to sleep in the barn. Like, are they kind of I guess because are they distancing themselves because if they know what's coming? So if they get any closer to him, it's going to be harder because on that panel that I think was it you picked on the left hand side
Where he's shoveling.
where he's you picked the middle panel.
Middle panel's mine, yeah.
Yeah, so like the middle panel is quite. I mean, it's clearly like he's a work hand. Like they've sent him to work in the barn and stuff like that, and he works from dusk till dawn, everything. And then you've got like his little sister on the first panel, like waking up in the middle of the night thinking, I can't believe like my brother's living there. I'm going to go and give him some food. And then in the final panel, so what happens in between? If people in the chat haven't read this yet, it's quite hard hitting. Like there's some emotional entanglements in this comic. There's some seriously like choking parts in this because you think even though it's only a comic book, you think there's some story behind this. Like we're not going to find out why it's actually like this, I think, until we kind of get 4 or 5 issues in. Because I think at the end of this comic, on the panel that I've picked, where I don't even know what would you call these people. I don't know.
They're like the enforcers, aren't they? They're literally just like bailiffs.
Literally just coming to collect the one sacrifice. And I thought this was quite emotional because there's a segment in that where the dad turns around and goes, I'm so son, I kind of, and it's kind of like he's done all these bad things to his son, and then when pushes come to shove, he's kind of like, I wish I'd been more of a father to him instead of like beating him to a pulp. I just thought it was really, really emotional.
Yeah, I got so emotional watching it. I got the feeling that the bird dad, kept his son at arm's length, knowing full well that at some point his firstborn son would have to go off and be sacrificed. And it's a little bit like, and then it gets to the end and it's like, I probably should have done a bit more and given him a bit more of a life because now his life's coming to an end.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and there we go. Look, Mr. Perpetuous jumps in. Good evening, mate. How you doing? I love this issue. A heartbreaking tale about the domestic troubles of a father who happens to be a god and the painful struggles of a farming father bound by service to the gods. Yeah, see? So I think it is that they, as I said, they're all answering, like someone on this planet is kind of answering to a god, whereas the higher almighty is kind of just doing what he feels like. But I think for the next issue, where you kind of see all the sacrifices all chained up, I think this could potentially be, you tell the different story, you get the intro story of each sacrifice that's been given, and then we kind of find out at the end what this is all going to lead into. But it's a very hard-hitting issue, and I think, from Image, in my opinion, have put out another winner. Winner, blue tit dinner. Excuse me.
Yeah, blue tit dinner, yeah.
But I mean, for writing, for character development, for the panels, the colouring, overall, I just think it's great. I'm definitely going to give this an 8 out of 10. And yes, your IKEA game is very strong, Thomas. Look at them.
It's the new office, mate.
Look at that. Look at that.
I've actually got lights and everything.
Look at that, mate. You've been busy boy. You're putting them guns to the test,
mate. I've got all my Lego at the top.
Look at this. Look at that. And you still haven't built that Bowser, mate.
No, that's what I've been waiting for space to do it. And I've ordered a cool Perspex box to put him in.
Nice. Wicked. So, yeah, overall thoughts on this comic. What would you say, my friend?
Mate, I'm going to give it a strong 8 out of 10 because I thought it was really good. It didn't break any ground for me. We've read some better comics this year so far. However, actually, do you know what? I'm going to give it probably a 9, actually, because I'm so intrigued to see where it goes. And it was a really strong first issue that has given me vibes of wanting to read the next issue. And like Andy said, having that emotional struggle, emotional connection to these characters in one issue, I was like, I'm in. Let's do it. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it a 9. 9 out of 10, mate.
Nice. If anyone in the chat has actually read that, other than Andy, let us know what you think and let us know if you've got any, any theories about the show, about the comic that we're reviewing. So but I'm definitely enjoying it, and it's I've only got like 3 or 4 comics on my pull list, but again, I think this is definitely one that in trade paperback form will be even pull at the heartstrings a lot more, because I think there'll be some untold stories and sketches and everything like that. So but I mean, that panel in the middle, the bottom panel, it's literally like,
it's like shit.
That's it. And he knows his time. So
it's like, you've got to go now, mate. See you later.
Yes. So, talking about time, it's Thursday. It's Thursday.
It's
Monday,
welcome.
Tuesday, Wednesday. Are you ready, Tom? Are you ready? Your moment
ready,
has
mate.
come. Are you sure?
I am ready.
It's just so ironic that we're doing Thor as a character showcase. You've got Mjolnir in your hand, and you have the power of the slides, Tom. You have.
I have the power. I've been given the power. I am worthy of the hammer and the power of the slides. I mean, I'm winning all year round today.
Oh, you are. Right. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to drink out of my bottle, and I'm going to listen. Not 1, 2, or 3 minutes. I'm going to listen for 4.
For 4 minutes. Nice. Like it. I like that.
There we go. Right. Crack on.
So, cracking on. Welcome everybody to the Thor showcase. Welcome to Thursday, named after the god of thunder. So Thor, his real full name is Thor Odinson, and he's an Asgardian god of thunder. His race is Asgardian, so he is a god. Comes from Asgard originally. But he is also human and mortal, which I'll get into in a minute. He's both from Asgard and from New Asgard. He's a founding member of the Avengers, and he's a former member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Did you rewrite this?
This was the one that I found before you kind of rewrote it. So if I've...
I was going to say, you completely thrown me.
Sorry, mate. I do apologise.
You could have let me know you'd rewritten what I'd put.
I totally didn't. Totally thought I'd uploaded it. So that's my apologies.
What the fuck? Sorry, anyway, Thor was created by Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, and Stan Lee's brother, Larry Lieberman. Thor debuted in the Silver Age of comics and is a Marvel Comics character. Thor is based on the Norse mythological god of the same name, and he has Asgardian, as I said, and he wields the hammer known as Mjolnir. Anyway, moving on. Thor did make his debut. I think it was 19. Bear with. Made his debut in 1962. But again, I'll get to that in a second. Wow. Yeah. So, first off, when I do my slides, I like to ask everyone what your meet cute is, or when the first encounter is of when you've met said character or said artist. So, Charlie, when did you first encounter Thor, or when was your first exposure to Thor?
Do you know what? I think it was years ago. So my dad, like me, was a comic collector, and he obviously gave me a few. I got like a Daredevil one, like CGC Army and stuff. And when I got that, I was given a few more. I was given some Thors. I was given some Avengers and stuff like that. But it must have been years and years ago when I was probably like 18 or 19, when I kind of just like really got into comic books and stuff like that. But I think as I got older and I started to get into comics a lot more, I would say it was only when I was like reading the Avengers comics, like the Mighty Avengers and stuff, that I kind of really got into him and stuff. And then obviously with the movies and everything like that. But going back and like looking over at some of my old comics, he was such a great character, and he's always been like a great character. He's been like one of the pivotal Avengers. Obviously, he's like one of the founding members of the Avengers and stuff like that. But I think because I like Norse mythology and stuff like that, I think subconsciously I've always kind of had a liking to Thor and what it's about and everything. Not him being like the superhero and stuff like that, but obviously with the Norse mythology and the Vikings and everything like that. So I think subconsciously he's probably one of my favorite Avengers, other than Iron Man, that I kind of really enjoy reading and like taking time to understand and everything like that. What about you?
So for me, I didn't discover Thor until quite late on. So when I was at college, I'd have been about 16, 17.
Mhm.
At this point, I'd only read Ultimate X-Men and Spawn, and then someone
Yeah.
introduced me to the Ultimates.
Mhm.
And after reading the Ultimates, I was introduced to Ultimate Thor, and I just loved his kind of
Yeah.
this beach character, bit of a bum, you know, drinks too much, thinks he's the god of thunder. Really enjoyed him as a character. And then after the, you know, the events of the
Mhm.
Ultimates kind of all fell apart and it all came into the Marvel universe, I then ended up going down a rabbit hole, and I've just completely fallen in love with Thor as a character. I mean, I don't know if you know, fun fact, Mjolnir has more powers than you actually expect it to have. So Thor can't wield thunder and lightning on his own. He has to use Mjolnir. He can't fly without Mjolnir. And also with Mjolnir in hand, he actually has the power of time travel and being able to teleport, believe it or
Okay.
not. It's only happened a couple of times in the comic books.
Yeah.
So there's a series, I think it's where Thor basically takes over a slot of land in America, and then he kind of loses a bit of his humanity because the human
Mhm.
that he's currently embodying kind of dies off, I think, and he becomes the king of Asgard, which is currently on our, you know, in America.
Yeah.
And then during that period of time, you again get like this 120 years worth of story in a couple of issues of how Thor dominates the world, destroys everything, kills people, kills the Avengers, and it all goes a bit tits up. And he gets to the end, and he's married Enchantress, and he's like, he looks back at his life, he's like, I massively fucked up.
Yeah.
So he uses his power of Mjolnir to send him back in time to be a youthful version of himself with humanity, with a humane side, and he changes everything. So it's quite a good story, but at the same time, it flopped on its arse as a story. Like, it wasn't sold very well. It didn't do very well. So although Mjolnir can time travel, it's not something that's happened very often within the comic books. Anyway, I've kind of digressed slightly, but yeah, I got into Thor via the Ultimates. I mean, that was my my introduction to Thor, and he had a really cool hammer that was kind of like an axe and stuff. But I'm the same as you, mate. I'm massively into Norse mythology, so
Yeah.
kind of like once I knew who he was and what it was all about, I kind of went down the rabbit hole of watching an interesting Thor. Another interesting fun fact: Mjolnir only has a short handle because when Thor was told to go and create Mjolnir, take it to the dwarves and get them to create it for Odin, Loki came and played a trick on Thor, and they ended up with a really stubby handle. It should have a huge handle, not a small handle. Just so you know. There you go. So Thor made his debut, like I said, in Journey into Mystery, issue 83, back in August 1962, written by Stan Lee. Artist was Jack Kirby, but also Stan Lee's brother had a lot to do with this. What did I say his name was? Larry Lee.
Larry, Larry
So fun fact, another fun fact. So I love my fun facts. When interviewed, someone said to Stanley, they're like, why Thor? Why a mythological character? And Stanley said, how do you make an opponent for the strongest person that you've created? You know, how do you make a man stronger? Well, you make him a god. That's how you make him stronger. And he was like, and I've always been a fan of Norse mythology and the pointy Viking hats that I wanted to create a Viking style character using Thor as the Norse mythology. Fun fact, again, there's nothing to do with Thor, but Vikings didn't wear horns on their helmets. It's a common mistake that actually didn't happen. They wore the kind of across the brow kind of pointy helmets. No Thor, no horns. It's not real.
So more like the 300 helmets.
Yes, very much like the 300 helmets, but without the mohawk. But yes. So Thor made his debut in 1962. Have you read this, Charlie?
I think I've definitely read A Journey into Mystery. I don't think I've read this one, but I've read one where Thor appears in it, and I love this original Thor look. I think this when people say to me, other than thinking of Chris Hemsworth as Thor, I think of this Thor. I wouldn't go down like the modern route. I love this Thor. I love how Thor was written and drawn in these like comics. I mean, because obviously nowadays, outside. Exactly, and like getting into like the future of it with like which we'll touch on in like the future slides and stuff. But this for me is kind of what when I was 16, 17 reading about Thor. This is what I loved about it. I love
Yeah.
like the paneling and like the art and the colors and stuff. It really popped, and like the action of like him swinging Mjolnir and stuff like that. It's just is wicked. But I do like this Thor. I don't know if I've read this comic though.
So years ago, for Not Quite Mint, we read this one just to see what it was like. So basically, Thor is been sent to Earth with no memory of who he is or what he's about. He's embodying a character called Donald Blake. So him and Donald Blake have become one person.
Yep.
Donald Blake is basically a cripple, but also a physiologist and doctor, but who decides to go on a holiday to Norway. Ironically, the birthplace of Thor, which we would do. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, if you were, partially crippled and couldn't get around much, I don't think Norway is the place you really want to go.
No,
to be honest,
not at all.
It's very hilly, very cold. It's not going to be great. Anyway, he gets to Norway. Whilst he's there, there's a space invasion, and there's the Krakoans decide, not Krakoans, Krakoans. I think it's Krakoans. Anyway, Krakoans decide to descend on Earth, and they land in Norway, and they basically attack Donald Blake. He ends up going into a cave, finds a stick to kind of help him, walk around. He gets really frustrated because he ends up getting lost in this kind of cave area, gets locked in. He smashes this stick on the side of this rock. Bam, Bob's your uncle. He turns into Thor. Still has no memory that he is Thor or anything, because I mean, that comes later on throughout the series that he starts to remember things. But yeah, bangs this stick, turns into Thor. I mean, we've all tried it. Don't say you haven't. We've all tried banging a stick on the floor and turning into Thor. I mean, I know I have. But although the Krakoans are the rock people, which is Korg from Ragnarok.
Yeah.
He is Krakoan, which is a nice nod to the original comic book in the TV, in the movies, being Korg becoming one of Thor's closest companions, which was a nice throwback to the original book, which I thought was quite cool. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. And this is why I love doing this part of the show, because I'm kind of learning about characters I thought I knew quite a lot about. But this is, it's wicked, man. And this is a hefty book. This is an expensive, but obviously it's the first appearance of Thor.
Yes.
And it's a hefty. I'm looking on eBay now, and you're looking at a 4.0. You're looking at about $9,000.
So a 9.8 very, very recently went for $81,000.
Jesus Christ. I mean, that is, Journey into Mystery, 83, a 0.5 off-white is going for £3,500. So, I mean, but then it ranges like a 7.0 is going for 575. So obviously, go on, if you are willing to look at eBay and go on to Last Souls and you've got some money to spend, you're going to look them. And Yuko demands treats. My intro was Chris Hemsworth portrayal, my girlfriend's too. Turns out on that other, another of Thor's lesser known pals is knackering my air dehumidifier thanks to my girlfriend's constant drooling. Yeah, you can blame Chris Hemsworth for that. You can,
you can.
Yeah.
It's all Chris Hemsworth's fault.
You can. But I think, look, go on, mate.
I was going to say my dehumidifier is doing the same when I'm watching it.
See, my wife's Aquaman, like Jason Momoa. I can't.
Oh no, it's not my wife. It's me. I mean, I have a huge man crush on Chris Hemsworth.
But I mean, when you look back at the amount of stuff and the partnership, we talk about amazing partnerships that writers and artists have these days. The pinnacle of these partnerships started with Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Like
Absolutely,
for me, at the start of the comic genre and everything, the start of Marvel and the start of the Avengers and Thor and Hulk and everything like that, the pinnacle is always going to be Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Like what they've done for the comic industry will never ever be beaten. Like that's an amazing achievement. And when you look back at all these old comics, whether it be Iron Man, whether it be like Daredevil, Thor, Hulk, anyone else, the artwork and the way that these comics were created are fantastic. Like the three images that you got on the screen now are so great, are so historic that they're never going to age. They're never going to get old. Do you know what I mean? No. They age so well. And you could pick up, if you're lucky enough to like have a silver or Bronze Age, a Silver Age comic, you can pick up and like look through it. It's the smell of the comic that you kind of think, this is a proper comic book. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, when these comics were made, they was probably, the majority of them were small print runs. So what you had in your hand, you kind of, you might have looked through it 500 times and looked at it, but that comic was read as a comic should be. Now, obviously, I'm talking behind, I've got CGCs and slabs behind me, and I read digitally for the majority of stuff. But when comics were first created, like, people enjoyed reading the comics. And that's what
using them as toilet paper during
exactly,
the war.
Exactly. Like rolling them up and putting them in your back pocket, as Jock said, like as comics should be read. And I think we've kind of fallen by the wayside with that, because I think we're too delicate with comics now. I think with comics, we kind of just want to get the 9.8 grade and keep it and look at it forever. Whereas back then, our parents and like bloody grandparents looked at comics, read comics, folded them up or wrapped them in cling film and then put them in a cardboard box with no bloody like backing and boarding and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So yes, it's big ups to Stan Lee and Jack Kirby for this.
I mean, the collecting's changed, hasn't it? Like nowadays, it's about collecting it, keeping pristine, and putting it in a box for later dates. I mean, mine these are all full of comic books. But in a way, I kind of miss the old days of like opening up. You know, don't worry about it. You know, rip a page out if you want to put it on the wall as a poster. Do you know what I mean? Like people would get so funny about that now. If we sat here and I opened up one of my books, like one of my valuable ones, and just ripped a page out and stuck it to the wall, people would be like, "Oh my god, what's he doing?"
But do you remember what Dan said last week? That's what he kind of did. He kind of ripped them out and bought his comics, ripped out the pages that he liked, and based his artistic style on that. Whereas I think obviously you're not going to, if you've got this comic and it's graded and it's like 35 grand, you're not going to rip it out, rip a page out of it. But it's all relative. Like, comics are to be read and stuff like that. And I think it's just, as comics have changed with the times, so has everyone's mentality and collection habits and reading comics, and it's the way of the world, really. ABZ has said, UK Thor and X-Men UK Weekly was my first intro to comics before I eventually discovered USA Market, Menzies, distributed to newsagents. Yeah, I think the introduction to going down on a Saturday and picking up a comic in your local newsagents was probably one of my first introductions, other than being lucky enough to take on my dad's comics when he gave them to me. So go for it. Next
up, I just want to go through some key comics that are in Thor's history. Things that you might, want to, if you see them, pick them up. If not, get the facsimiles, because they're worth reading. So first off, Journey into Mystery 85, which happens to be the first appearance of Loki, which is Thor's brother, the god of mischief. I mean, why would you not want to read it? Actually, it's a really good book, to be fair, a really good story. Because it's cheeky. It's cheeky for the age. I mean, it's one of those things where they play a lot of practical jokes on Thor, and it's a little bit tongue in cheek. There's a few kind of a bit suspect now. If you read it, if it came out now, there's a few things that people would be pissed off or upset about. It also is the first appearance of Baldur, Hamdall, and Tyr, and also the first appearance of Odin in this book as well. So it's full of first appearances. Then you've got Avengers issue 1, which is the first Avengers comic. It's the first time they all got together, and it's the creation of the Avengers in that book, which is, again, another one that's worth reading if you get a chance to read it. Get a facsimile version or even download it digitally. Again, great one to read. And then you've got Journey into Mystery Annual 1, which is the first appearance of the Hercules and the Greek gods that came into the Marvel Universe. Again, it was one of those things where there's an interview with Stan and they're like, how do you beat a god? You introduce some more gods from a different time period, different kind of culture. I think they wanted Hercules and Thor to become a rivalry for a very long time. I just think it fell by the wayside quite early, because people just didn't get behind it. They just loved Thor and didn't want Hercules, basically.
I just love these covers because there's so much on there. It's like a movie passer, like, like when you used to go past the old cinemas and it was like showing now, or the old boxing posters where it was like, I don't know, Graychester Grovler or fighting so and so, and it was like all these captions and stuff. Whereas now, as you would have seen from like the killer covers and stuff like that, it's all focused on one thing and it's like amazing artwork.
Pristine, isn't it?
Back then, these were awesome. Like, these were like, just owning some of these is amazing.
Yeah,
So,
man, definitely. I mean, I have Thor 337, which is the first appearance of Beta Ray Bill. If you guys don't know who Beta Ray Bill is, he's an alien from a different planet that comes to Earth. I can't remember why he comes to Earth, but he comes to Earth and he helps Thor take on some characters, some other bad guys, and then in return, Odin bestows Stormbreaker to Beta Ray Bill, who then gets the powers of Thor. Bill also has actually wielded Mjolnir, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Other key comics for note for Thor. 100%. If you haven't read Thor: God of Thunder, I'll get to it in a minute. But Thor: God of Thunder issue 2 is the first appearance of Gore the God Butcher, who has recently been in the most recent Thor movie. Again, well worth watching. Great series to read.
Christian Bale as well. He played him, didn't he?
He did. Original Sin issue 7 is a key comic for Thor because it's the time where Nick Fury, at the time, if you haven't read Original Sin, basically it's about the Watcher gets killed and his eye goes missing, and it's all about the secrets and stuff that the Watcher knows and all this and the other. It turns out Nick Fury is a bit of a dick, as always, but Nick Fury whispers in Thor's ear, and Thor then no longer becomes worthy. Now, this kind of goes back to God of Thunder, the Thor series, God of Thunder issue 2, because Gore's original reason for being Gore is he wants to kill all of the gods because he thinks they're selfish and they should be slain and they shouldn't be around because they're selfish. In Original Sin, you don't find out what Nick Fury whispers to Thor till much, much later on in the series. Basically, what Thor and Nick Fury engage in is he whispers in Thor's ear, Gore was right. You're all selfish. And at that point, Thor believes him. And because he believes what has been said and he agrees with Gore, he loses the ability to be worthy to pick up the hammer.
Wow. Obviously, the self-doubt and stuff. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how he loses the ability to pick up the hammer, which then leads us into Thor issue 1, the Jane Foster Thor, which is the female Thor, which is probably one of my favorite reiterations of Thor. I think we spoke about it a couple of times on the show. Again, I'll get into it in a minute. But yeah, definitely great series. This is the first issue. It's the first full appearance of Jane Foster as Thor. It's quite a valuable book now. I've got 2 of these. I've got one CGC'd, one un-CGC'd. So yeah, it's a cool book to have, and it's a great read, really good read. Jason Aaron is on the writing on this. It's fantastic. And then more recently, you've got the Donny Cates run of Thor, which is Thor issue 1, where Thor becomes not only a herald of Galactus, but also the Odin power chooses Thor, and he's now king of Asgard. But not just that, he's also got the Odin power, which I think is called the Allfather. Is it Allfather's power?
Yeah, it's the Allfather.
So so he's based in the Allfather. So that's a few of the key books that I think you guys should look out for.
This for me, reading Thor #1, the Jason Aaron run, like the Jason Aaron run of Thor was, I think for modern comics, that's kind of what got me into it. Like the Jason Aaron run, I think it was phenomenal. It was a great story. And obviously it had the first appearance of Lady Thor and stuff like that. And it was wicked. Like the way he integrated Jane Foster to become and everything, again, it tied in with the movie and stuff. But then when you think it couldn't get any better from Jason Aaron, Donny Cates came over and took over Thor. And I really, really liked Donny Cates' Thor. I really, really enjoyed it. And I think
it was a great story.
It was wicked. And then obviously me and Andy, as many of you will know, we jumped on the hype train for The King in Black. And I think the hype behind that was a lot more than the actual story was worth. I think because as quick as The King in Black arrived, he was gone in 5 issues. He was 5 or 6 issues, he was kind of gone. But I think Donny Cates writing that as Thor issue #1 and kind of the story that he went on to was great. And I think, is he still writing Thor now? Is he still...
I don't know, mate. I think he got moved from Thor to Hulk.
Okay.
I'm not sure. To be honest, mate, I haven't picked up a Marvel book for a very long time.
Yeah. But I mean,
I think
it was
the
enjoyable.
last one I read when Donald Blake came back from the abyss and just completely screwed everyone over.
That was
such a good read, that one.
but I'm definitely going to look to get Thor: God of Thunder. I'm going to look to see if I can get that in trade paperback. Back then I said, love the Jane Foster store run. Yeah, I thought that was great. And he said, pity the last movie was dog shit. I quite like the last movie, but that's because I'm a dad.
Last movie, yeah.
And I watched it with my 3 sons. So, yeah.
So, are you worthy to pick up the hammer, the Mjolnir, to, be Thor? Because it says on the hammer, for whoever shall possess this hammer shall be given the powers of Thor, if you're deemed worthy. So there have been a fair few people that have picked up the hammer over the years, including Jane Foster, who is the big picture that I've gone for because she's my favorite. You have the Ultimate Thor, who is basically Thor but from a different universe. You have Beta Ray Bill, he's one. You've got Thor, who is a frog.
Love him.
Who can pick up Mjolnir, which makes no sense at all. Captain America is worthy to be
of course.
Thor. Then you've got Loki. He's worthy to be Thor. He manages to pick up the hammer at one point. The Silver Surfer picks up the hammer. And then you've got the last two at the bottom. One is Thunderstrike, who goes on to become quite a significant character later on. And actually he's given his own hammer called Thunderstrike, and he then becomes that character. And then there is
that Lady Sif?
That is a what if story where the Black Widow actually picks up the Thor hammer.
Wow. See, I'd like to read that.
That's Natasha Romanoff picking up the hammer to become Thor.
What, that the second one in on the bottom next to Loki?
Yes, second one in the bottom, in between Loki and Silver Surfer.
I never knew that. Like, if you can kind of just let me know what comic that is, because I'd be interested in reading that.
If I think it's a what if, mate. I'll find out which one.
Just a one shot.
Just a one shot.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's also a few other notable ones that I didn't put in here. I'm going to mention anyway. So you've got the Superman. He also wields Thor in wields Mjolnir in a crossover, along with Wonder Woman. The Hulk is another one, and Venom is one. And Charlie did allude to it earlier when we spoke about King in Black. He does wield Mjolnir during that. However, it is the symbiote that wields the hammer, not Eddie Brock.
Do you know what? I've got a Thor comic, and it come with the old school 3D glasses. Now, I don't know if anyone in the chat ever picked this up, but it came in. I've never opened it. So if any of you have read it, please let me know what it is. But I can't remember if it's a Lady Thor or it's a Thor comic, but it definitely has the green and red paper glasses that you can kind of put on and read the comic. If anyone in the chat does know about that, let me know if you've read it, and let me know if it's worth me ripping it open, because for some reason I've just never wanted to open it. I've just wanted to keep it as it is with the old school glasses, because I think one of the first TVs I bought when I had my boys was a 3D TV when they first came out. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to sit down and watch a movie with these 3D glasses on. So my kids have only ever known them 3D glasses, like when we go to the cinema and stuff. When they see this comic, they was like, what are them weird looking yellow and green glasses you've got? And I was like, there's no way I'm taking them out of that bag, because they will last seconds. As soon as they come out, they will last seconds.
Literally, the air touched them, they're good.
And I don't know where I can get another pair from. So I'm kind of, if anyone in the chat that doesn't have any children that took the comic out, read it with the glasses on, let me know if I have to lock myself in a room and read the comic on my own with these glasses.
Do you know
away from children. Yes.
You know what you could do? You know the normal 3D glasses you've got, the black ones. If you've got any spare ones, poke the lenses out, buy some blue and red acetate paper, and cut them to the same size as the glasses, and stick them onto your plastic glasses. That way you don't have to use the cardboard glasses.
Do you know what I think? I think it's just the fact that I don't want to open the comic.
Oh, right. Okay. So it's completely sealed.
So it's completely sealed. Yeah. It's in.
Shit,
like,
okay.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why
you're going to open it. The cardboard is going to crumble.
Yeah. I think I only bought it about 5 or 6 years ago.
All right. Fair enough.
So, but yeah, these are fantastic. Like, these are. I like that one. I think that one at the top right where Thor's holding Captain America's shield is that. I think that's from the Donny Cates run. Is that? No, looks like, I'm trying to work. Who is that artist?
That's Brian Hitch, mate. It's from the Ultimate
Brian
Series.
Hitch. That looks very similar to one of the latest issues of. don't even think it's Thor. I think like that image I'm looking at it looks like Eddie Brock from Donny Cates' run of Venom.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of influence from the. I mean, the Ultimates universe has massively influenced the Marvel universe now.
Yeah.
Brian Hitch and Brian Michael Bendis did an incredible job.
Yes, and look, there he is, Triple G,
the YouTube royalty.
Yes, yeah, there we go. Look, he's got his new logo in store as well. So yes, but yeah, there's some fantastic covers out there, and definitely let me know about that Black Widow one because I'll be all over that.
Will do, mate. So we're going to do some recommended reading, and as I alluded to, I think you should all go out and buy Thor: God of Thunder from 2020, 2012 to 2015, which is the Jason Aaron run. There's various artists work on it. All the cover art is done by Estad Ribic. Estad Ribic is a fantastic.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
I've met him a fair few times, and I've luckily enough got my issue 1 signed by Estad Ribic. So
how long is this run? Because I've just looked on eBay and it says like volume 1, volume 2, volume 3.
You can get the compendium online. I think it's like £40. I looked at it before we started. It's like 40 quid for the complete compendium. I think there's 15 issues in total.
Wow. Okay.
And it goes all the way through Gore the God Butcher into King Thor, and then kind of how he kind of reverses. So King Thor kind of helps Thor not become King Thor. Fun fact, King Thor, so during the time when Thor becomes unworthy, he loses an arm. And he ends up with a Yuri-made arm, which is black Yuri, which is the same thing that Mjolnir's made out of.
Yeah.
A little bit later on in the series, you see King Thor. His arm is the Destroyer's arm, as in the Destroyer, the big Titanic thing that comes after Thor in the first movie. So he ends up with his arm, but it never gets explained, and it's really annoying that Jason Aaron never explained
it. Yeah.
With the Destroyer's arm. But anyway, this is a great series to read. Massive recommended read for people to go out and get.
Do you know the only thing I hated about these covers when they came out?
What's that?
Is the massive red "Join the Revolution" at the bottom. It's ruined the covers. It's totally ruined it.
It was because it's part of the Marvel Now situation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They're doing it on LA copy.
Yeah.
So other recommended reading. Now I've ordered this and I cannot wait to get it. It's about £100. So I apologize for your bank accounts, but this is basically a compendium of all of Thor's most key moments in this one book. And you actually get a reprint, not just a facsimile, like a proper reprint of the original Journey into Mystery on original paper, like proper old school newspaper. It's a very good thing. So it's got literally all his like key moments. So it's got Thor: God of Thunder issue 1. It's got Jane Foster's first appearance, Loki's first appearance. It's got Ragnarok in it, the story of Ragnarok, how that happens, how Thor stops Ragnarok. It's in this book.
This is cool, man.
It's a very, very cool compendium. Little stories in it, one shots. I actually think the one-shot story that we were talking about, the What If book, might be in this as well.
It just looks like, I love it's the old school blue. Do you know what I mean? Like a Thor of Thor of old. And I like the folder, like the portfolio that he comes into. And so this is of the Folio Society. This is that's nice. Tom, Andy has just said, Peter's just said, nice, not seeing this, we'll be picking this up. If you have the link available before the show's ending, would you be able to drop it into the chat?
Yeah, I will. I'll wait for the indie picks because you can take those, and I will find the link. The Folio Society are doing a range. They've done Spider-Man and they've done Captain America so far with Thor. They're suspected to do Iron Man, Black Widow. They're doing everyone basically. So yeah, should be quite a good series to have, especially on the shelf. These would be stunning.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah.
But I've ordered the Thor one because I'm a geek.
Nice.
I've just seen that Dan has said about Estad Ribic being at Nice. Now Estad goes to Nice every year because he's friends with Jeff, who runs Nice. So if you don't get to go to Nice this year and meet Estad, if they do one next year, he'll 100% be there. So yeah, and then finally, my last piece of recommended reading, which I think you should all go and read again, is the Jason Aaron run of Thor. Lady Jane as Thor. It is an incredible series that touches on the fact that he's not worthy to be Thor, but she's worthy to be Thor. Who is she? There's this great moment, I think it's like 4 books in, where Thor's like, "Are you my mother?" And then she just gives him this massive Frenchy kiss, and he's like, "Okay, clearly not my mum." It's awesome. But it's a great series, and go on.
This for me, like Russell Dalterman, like I used to love him.
Yes.
Like he's kind of gone quiet. Like I haven't really heard much or seen much from him in recent years.
He moved with Jason Aaron on to Avengers after this. And then I think there was a bit of a hoo-ha with what was going on. And then I don't think he's done much since, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't even know what Jason Aaron is doing now. I don't know if he's still writing the Avengers, because that kind of became a bit meh.
Yeah. I mean, but this story for people that don't really know about Thor, what is the whole situation with Lady Thor? How does that like kind of come about?
So basically, at the end of Original Sin, like I alluded to, Nick Fury whispers in Thor's ear, and he becomes unworthy of Thor, of wielding the hammer. So basically, he loses the abilities to use the hammer. On the moon, the hammer is situated. Thor's mom takes Jane Foster with her to the moon to see if she's worthy to pick up the hammer, which then Jane Foster picks up the hammer. Now, Jane Foster is suffering from terminal cancer. So that's the premise of this story. She is suffering from terminal cancer. Every time she picks up the hammer, it makes her worse. But yet she becomes, immortal when she's Thor. Yeah. So this whole series is about her fighting evil, fighting Malekith, the Dark Elf, battling with Thor because he doesn't believe that this is not an imposter. Battling with the fact that she's got cancer. It's a really, really well-written, all-round, heart-wrenching story that is very worth reading. I really couldn't recommend it anymore. And the way it ends is phenomenal. It's one of those stories that has got an ending. So you haven't got to read thousands of pages and it just never gets to an ending. It has got an ending, and it's a really good ending. And the relationship between Thor and Jane is really, really kind of explored quite a bit during this series. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
Nice. Tom, that was like, I thoroughly enjoyed that, man. Like I thought that was wicked. I don't know about the people in the chat, but I've learned a lot. I've learned more than I thought I actually knew, and I'm definitely going to be out like picking up the compendium of. Do you know? I actually think Thor could be the first compendium I pick up, like the God of Thunder, the first compendium that I have. So
please do it.
Do you know what? Yeah, it's just it's a rabbit hole. I don't know if I have the space to go down. To be fair, but I think as soon as I get it, I'll find the space. So
it's not a bad compendium to buy. I'll put it that way. It's one of those ones that I've read it more than once. So that says a lot, I think.
Definitely. Like honestly, thank you very much, Tom. If by the end of the chat you can kind of put in the Folio Society and the link in for that and everything, that'd be great.
Thank you ever so much for listening to me for the last 45 minutes. I appreciate
I enjoyed that.
Being given the time.
I enjoyed that. I thought that was good, mate. Thank you very much. So we are now at the final order cut-off top 3. So as it is common knowledge now, myself, Andy and Tom have moved our pool list and our slab buys, everything over to the to James at the Slab Crusaders. So massive shout out to you, sir. Now, as always, the orders placed must be with James by 9 p.m. on Sunday, or 1, they will be cancelled, or 2, you may end up not getting what you wanted. So moving swiftly on. Up first, Coda issue number 1 from Boom Studios, written by Simon Spurrier, art by Mateus Bergara, and the cover art is by Tony Infantante. Infantante? No, it's not. It's Infante. There we go.
Infantante.
Yeah, this looks great. I think Boom Studios are slowly picking up now, so hopefully we haven't really heard much from them this year, so hopefully they can start picking up. So as always, scan the barcode, scan the QR code, whatever's on your screen at the moment. Scan it. It will take you to Slab Crusaders. Go into the Slab Crusader and you can kind of pick your Marvel, your DC, your cover picks, and your suggested pickups for FOC, but they must be done and paid for and ordered and everything by 9 p.m. on Sunday. Coda issue number 1. I've gone for Batman, Gargoyle of Gotham, issue number 1, DC Comics, written art and cover art by Raphael Grampa. This, for me, quite a big fan of Batman. Love Batman. Looking forward to this. It's DC Black Label. I think it's going to be a oversized magazine type of book, so I'm very much looking forward to this. And from the cover, it kind of looks like it's going to be a dark story. So obviously, with it being DC Black Label, it's probably going that way anyway. But Batman Gargoyle of Gotham issue number 1. And Tom,
This was Andy's, mate.
was
you've
it?
done. You did mine.
Oh, sorry, mate. I do apologise.
That's all right.
So,
I was finding that link anyway, so you're okay.
There we go. We've got Usagi Yojimbo, Ice and Snow, issue number 1 from Dark Horse Comics, written by Stan Sakai, art by Stan Sakai, and the cover art by none other than the one and only Scotty Young, who we featured on our show. And Andy did a fantastic job on the Creator Spotlight a few weeks ago. But obviously, scan the QR code, head over to Slab Crusaders and pick up and buy comics until your heart's content for FOC, but only until 9 o'clock every single week. So yes, that's the FOC, and with the man here not this week, I will be trying to do this justice. So we've got the Killer Indie picks for August 16th, which is next Wednesday. Now up first, we have Void Rivals, which is from Skybound and Image Comics, written by the one and only Robert Kirkman, arts by Lorenzo Di Felici. The distributor code is on your screen, and this is in stores on August the 16th. Now, Void Rivals issue number 2 was a bit drab. I think they peaked at issue number 1. Issue number 2 kind of didn't really tell us much. Issue number 3, now it says Robert Kirkman's and Lorenzo Di Felici's new shared universe debuts a monstrous new villain. Fighting for their lives to return to the sacred ring, Derek and Solia face a new threat to capture, and they're not the only prisoners on the ship. So it seems like it's taking, it's upping the ante, shall we say. So looking forward to that. You still reading this, Tom?
I am, mate. I actually really like Void Rivals. I thought it was great.
Moving on to something epic now. Now, obviously, this is written by Simon Kudronsky, art by Simon Kudronsky. This, for me, every time I see this, I just get...
You absolute bastards. When you were like, this is a great book, you should read it. You could have told me that it's about his mum getting cancer. Because my mum had cancer, and it completely fucked me over. In the second issue, I was like, no, I can't read. I literally can't. It was too close to home for me, so I haven't been able to read it. I'm going to go back and read it, though, because it is really good. It just was a bit close to home. Bastards for not saying anything.
This is a fantastic... Now, everyone reading this, we've done reviews on issue number 1. We've picked it up. It's fantastic. Issue number 4, however, no longer in the denial of his powers, Dan is treated by his new mentor, a curious figure from his past, to a whistle-stop tour of the imaginary multiverse. With guest appearances from Image Comics' greatest characters, 29 pages of story and art for the regular price of just $3.99. This comic, for me, is what Crossover should have been.
Yes.
Crossover should have been done this. This is how you do a crossover comic, introducing characters and Image's best characters, loved characters, villains, heroes. This is how it should have been. This is fantastic. And Simon Kudronsky is doing everything. He's got some big things coming that he announced on his Instagram a few weeks ago. But this, for me, is fantastic. And this is on my pull list, and I am definitely going to be picking it up as a trade paperback, because there is some sensational double page spread in this. The captioning of some of the word in the text, the character, everything in this comic is basically something epic. It's fantastic. So Tom, I know it's close to home, but I would literally just give it a read, man. It's fantastic.
I'm gonna, mate. It was just that I was reading it late at night, and it got to that page, and I was like, oh no. Yeah.
Yes. No, indeed. And finally, we have The Cull, issue number 1, written by Kelly Thompson, art by Matea De Iluis. And this is, as you can probably tell by the cover, is something probably spooky. And as it so happens, something is killing the children, horror vibes mixed with the Goonie-style adventure as 5 friends set off to shoot a short film on a forbidden rock near their home the summer before they all go their separate ways. But that's not really why they're there. One of them has lied, and it's a lie that will change their lives forever. This sounds epic. As soon as it said something is killing the children and the Goonies vibes, I was all over this. This looks wicked. Andy has once again picked 3 fantastic indie picks that I, and for one, and I assume you are very much looking forward to continue reading and picking up and reading over and over again, as I'm sure everyone in the chat is as well. So that's the indies done. That's the FOCs done. What have we got next?
Oh, George Dawes, give us the scores.
There we go. So this is the Killer Comic scoreboard. As you can see, I've fallen by the wayside. Tom and Andy have had one each of a half score. Tom, you won last week. You beat myself, Andy, and the man, Dan, to the Killer cover. What's the scores on the doors, George Dawes?
So, So basically, in third place is me, with 28%. So, thank you very much for everyone who voted for me. Shockingly, it's a joint win for you and Andy with 35% each. Now,
This
I'm calling a
fix
because Andy's cover was shite compared to mine. So, and I got
how many
28%.
How many votes have been placed?
45 votes have been placed, and Andy and you are drawing at 35%. I'm calling a fix because
I'll tell you what, them bots are at it again.
I'm bitter that I lost. Not at all. But halfway through the show, you were at 50% and Andy had no votes. So
the bots are at it. But do you know what? I've got half a point. I'll take that. I'll take half a point. Half a point is better than no point. Well done, Andy. Well done yourself. Well done me. I've got half a point on the scoreboard. Bish, bash, bosh. On to next week. On to the next one.
I'll be calling you panels and a half point next.
There we go. Panels and a half point. There we go. Look, what's this? So, what have we got now? There we go. So, obviously, the Instagram, the Twitters. You can find me at Geeky Guy Comics, and then Twitter is Geeky Guy Comics. Perpetual is obviously perpetual.comics, and Twitter is Perpetual Comics. And Tom?
If you want to find me for geekiness, you can find me on Instagram at Not Quite Mint. But if you would like some help with your fitness journey or health and well-being, you can find me on Tom Malin PT, also on Instagram. I am not your average personal trainer, so please do contact me if you want any help.
Boom. And then we also have the Killer Comic Show Instagram, which, to be honest, I think is very colourful, very informative. It looks absolutely amazing. Massive shout out to Buffer for keeping our stuff on track. And then we have twitter.com Killer Comic Show. Always fun. We always enjoy your involvement on Instagram and the sharing and the posting, commenting and stuff like that. It's all enjoyable. So hey ho. Then we've got the Killer Comic Show sneak peek for next week. Now, I've gone for Barnstormers issue number 2. Andy featured it last week. This is obviously done by Dan Panacea. I'm looking forward to reading this. I can't wait to read this cover. I'm not sure this cover is by Dan Panacea. I know
I don't. Cover. He has.
I think this is too little Tate. I think this isn't that. But yeah, I'm like issue number 1 was I read it on Comixology, and now I'm kind of reading it where it's on Dark Horse. So Barnstormers issue number 2. Andy has gone for Swan Songs.
No, that's me.
Oh, is that you? Sorry, mate. I get confused.
I've gone for Swan Songs because, again, it's another standalone story within the Swan Song series. Mm-hmm. And this one's got the artwork by the amazing and awesome and probably one of my favourite artists, Casper Wingard.
Who so I think, again, is at Thought Bubble this year.
Yes,
he was there last year. And then, obviously, Andy's gone for The Madness issue number 1. See, I prefer this cover to Andy's yellow one.
I think there's more artistic license in this one than the other one. I thought the yellow one was a bit shit.
Yeah. I think this looks good. But yeah, they're the 3 covers that will go up on the vote at straight after the show, so you can place your votes, and then we will review it next week. Yeah, looked up. There we go. So
there's no clock up there, but
no, there's a clock right there, and it says 10:15. So yeah, 10:30 that will go live. Have you got any pickups, mate? Because Andy's not here.
I do.
Get in. Go on. I've got some as well.
I do indeed. I love the fact that I can get them now because they're directly behind me.
Look at that. Bear with me. Can I just point out, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm really hoping I'm not wrong, but them axes behind you, you made them from start to scratch. You did.
Yes.
You kind of rendered them. Yes. You rendered them, you sketched them, you put them into your 3D program, and you made them, which I am so impressed with, mate, because they look bloody awesome. They are awesome. And what is the blade made out of? Is it?
No, it's just wood, mate.
And it's
It's
wicked.
just wood and then been painted. That's all it is.
They look awesome, mate.
At some point when we probably not in this house, but when we move, I'll have my shields out as well that I made, and I've got a couple of Viking boat heads. That I
Oh,
have
cool.
out as well.
Oh, wicked. But yeah, they look great.
Don't they? They look cool.
Yeah, they do.
So yes, I do have some pickups, mate. So I have managed to get the Kick-Ass variant to Big Game,
Oh, wicked.
which is from I've forgotten the name.
Mark
of the
Miller.
artist. No, the artist of the cover, Jay Lee, is the
Oh,
artist.
wow. Where did you get that from?
eBay.
That's cool, man. I like
Yeah, it's
that.
wicked, isn't it? I
Yeah.
think it's a place in space that sorted it out for me.
Okay.
But I got it off eBay.
Yeah.
So that was one that came. My final order from Galactic came after months and months of pissing about.
Mate, that's
which is
awesome. J. Scott Campbell.
J. Scott Campbell X-Men Gala
That's awesome.
issue.
That's great.
Apparently, according to sources, this Gala issue that's happened 2 years in a row, is going to be a continual annual X-Men book now. This
like a gala would be.
Like a gala would be, which is pretty cool. I quite like the idea of that.
Yeah.
So, and then I have two pretty cool pickups actually that I'm really chuffed with. That I'm going to get both. I'm going to get CGC'd. So I have the 1 in 100 Void Rivals issue 1.
That looks good. Yes,
done by Daniel Warren Johnson and
Jetfire.
it's obviously Jetfire.
Yeah, that looks great.
So I couldn't not get it. I sold a load of comic books recently. So basically, I've got this little pot now that I'm using purely to buy comic books with. It's not coming out of my own funding. It's just coming out of a comic book pot that I've created. So I bought that.
As Andy always says, let the hobby pay for the hobby. There we
exactly.
go.
So I'm kind of embracing Andy's technique. So and it's working well.
Yeah.
And what it has provided me is the most sought after comic book from San Diego Comic Con. The one everyone is going mental for, and the price tag of it has gone through the roof since I got mine. So it went from like 35 quid up to hundreds of pounds now. I have the Ashcan Transformers issue 1.
Mate, how did you get that?
eBay.
That is amazing.
So I'll be honest. I had to contact the seller and be like, look, can you like double wrap it? And he sent it in one of those really
top
cool
loaders. Yeah.
I don't think he knew what he had, because this is mint condition, like proper mint condition. Yeah. And now that it is one of the most sought after books from San Diego Comic Con, because they had a panel and these were given out at the panel. So if you didn't go to the panel, you didn't get one.
Yeah, you didn't get one. Yeah.
So I've got one. I didn't go to the panel, but I've got one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So this is going pride of place once I get it CGC. And I need to read it, to be fair, first as well.
I just wouldn't even trust sending it off to CGC.
No, I might not. I've got a book. I've got a stack load of books I'd love to get CGC'd. So I'm hoping anyone out there, right? I'm on eBay. You can find me Tom Malin 97 on eBay. Want to buy any of my shit? Please do, because I've got a lot of comic books I want to get CGC'd.
Oh, great! They're 4 quality pickups, mate. I've only got 2.
What we got?
I've got some J. Scott goodness.
Some J. Scott. Oh, I've got some J. Scott goodness for you.
This is nice. This is J. Scott goodness. This is relative as well. This came out last year. It's the second printing, obviously, but this is nice. So that was that. And then I got this a few weeks ago. A little Lobo figure.
Oh, awesome. Is that from after we did the Andy did the Lobo spotlight?
Yeah. So it's ironic because these were going. I was away a couple of weeks ago, and I was down in a Western Supermare visiting like a relative, and I went into the pound shop, and obviously the pound shop isn't a pound shop no more. They had these for £10, nice. And I picked this up for £10, and the detailing on it is really bloody cool, and he's a hefty character. Like when I put him up next to my other McFarlane's, he's a big boy. Like he's a big character, and this is just awesome. Like this is cool. So that kind of sent me down a rabbit hole, and I've kind of ordered a few more and stuff. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I've got. I'm gonna kind of now, where the wife's out and the kids are asleep, I'm gonna go on an eBay hunt and have a little purchase of like some more J. Scott Campbell stuff.
I've got loads of stuff you can buy.
And yeah. What is that again? That I can buy it.
Got loads. Do you want this?
Look at that. Yes, please. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. Is that J. Scott?
It is, mate. J. Scott Campbell, Gwenham versus Carnage.
Yeah.
It's from his website.
Yeah. That's mine. Take it. Done. Sold. Job done.
Sold.
Thank you very much.
Sold.
And on that note, it's been a fantastic show. Thank you to every single person that joins us week in, week out in the chat. Love it. Love you to bits, Tom. Enjoyed the show. Thank you very much. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Really enjoyed it. Next week,
Thursday, everybody.
Next week, my character is going to be Iron Man. So we're going to get involved in that because Iron Man is one of my best characters for Marvel. So I'm going to be doing that. That's going to be interesting. Andy, hopefully we'll be back. You'll have the three of us. The Dream Team will be back on your screens or your audio delectable, whatever choice of medium you decide to watch us and view us and stuff like that. But that's another Thursday done. Enjoy the comics that you're reading. Enjoy your weekend. The sun is shining. And Thomas, what do we say?
Stay safe. Stay geek.
See you later.
See you.